Right? So we have point A for sure, right? All right. Point B looks like 6 minus 2, and C looking like, no, a few people have 0. C looking like 4 minus 4. That's what it's looking like to me. All right. Great. Okay. Now, this type of question we were asked in part 3 was a translation. Anytime you hear it's a translation, be happy. That's actually the easy type of questions. How a translation works, they will give you 2 numbers, and you can clearly see that they gave you 2 numbers, -7 and 1. With a translation, you don't actually have to multiply all the points by the -7 and the 1. With the translation, it's a simple addition question. So look how easy this is going to be. Remember, when you have a point, you just have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. But we did a lot in graphs, so I guess then everyone knows the x comes before the y. When they give you a translation to perform, the top number represents the x, and the underneath number represents what? The y. All you have to do is go to all the points individually and add -7 to the x value and add 1 to the y value. So let me do point A for you. When you take this translation and apply it to point A, well, the new point, you're going to call it A dash. What you need to do is add -7 to the y, to the x coordinate, and add 1 to the y coordinate. 0 plus, but when a plus and a minus meet, right, you get a minus. So 0 minus 7 is -7. And -2 plus 1 is -1. And it's as simple as that. So do the same thing for point B, so you'll get B dash. And you do the same thing for point C, where you will get C dash. So add -7 to him and add 1. Add -7 and add 1. Okay? And get the new points for me. A dash, B dash, and C dash. Okay? Right? And it's always added in a translation. When you're applying it, you just always add. It's just that if the number is a minus, the add and the minus will touch to give you a minus. Right? So answers are pouring in. Good, good, good. Sydney, you have an answer there. Rhonda, you have an answer there. All right, so let me see what I get for the rest of them. 6 minus 7, I'm getting -1 here, and -2 plus 1 is -1. All right. 4 minus 7 is -3, and -4 plus 1 is -3. So those are the new coordinates of the triangle. When we apply the translation, now I'm not too sure if they ask us to not only calculate the points, which is what we just did, right? Or and if they ask us to draw the new triangle. So let's just go down here and see what they ask us to do, right? On the diagram, translate. Oh, right. So what we have to do, they want us to draw it in here because on the diagram itself, they ask us to translate it. So I guess I have to draw it in order to get full marks, unfortunately. All right, so if you all have some scrap paper there, you can probably just do a quick sketch of how the new triangle might look, okay? Right, so I'll draw this one, we got a good color here, that will shine. All right, -7, -1, that is A dash here, right? -1, -1. You all let me know if I make any mistakes here, right? And C is -3, and we go down to -3. All right. I don't know if you all see any mistakes there, if I plot any points wrong there, right? I plot this point, and this point here. Anything looking wrong there? Yeah. No problem, Rhonda. All right, I think you're looking correct. Yeah, I think you're looking correct. All right. Great. Well, I'm surprised they only give us 1 mark for that question, because to me, we had 1, 2, 3 pieces of calculation, and we had to draw it. And I find you could have given us at least 3 marks for that. Robbery. Very good. All right, so that's the answer for that particular question for our 1 measly mark. So let's go down and continue from here, right? Right. On the diagram on page 10, enlarge triangle X about the center by a scale factor of 1/2. All right. When we were doing matrices a few months ago, remember there were formulas to like if you wanted to reflect something in the x-axis that had a matrix, you had to remember if you wanted to enlarge something or rotate something, there was what? A matrix C you had to memorize. I want you all to turn back in your notes and look for the one called the enlargement matrix. Just look for it and set it. It has 4 items in it. Send that matrix across, or at least let me know you found it in your notes. All right? All right. All right, so just let me know. All right. The matrix itself, well, I'm hoping the rest of the class found it also, right? It was this one called K00K. That was the matrix itself. Okay? Right. All right. So you have K00, 0, and K. What value do you think you have to replace the K with according to this question? The zeros remain in there, but what do you think we are going to be replacing the K with? All right, so some people say 0.5, some people say 1. Well, K stands for the enlargement factor. Like if you wanted to make the object 3 times, well, bigger, you would replace the K with 3. Today, we are trying to reduce the image to half its size. So the K, we actually have to replace it with 1/2. Okay? So this is the matrix that we have to use for part 4. All right? So, but which triangle are they talking about? That's now. The triangle they are talking about is X. All right, so what we need to do first of all is get the coordinates of X here, of all the points on X here, right? So I know the diagram getting kind of clustered, but I'll just call here point X. I'll call this one point Y, and I'll call this point Z. So everyone quickly get the coordinates of X, Y, and Z. Right, so people are putting answers. X looking like 0, 2. I'm sure that is 0, 2. Y looking like 4, 4. And Z looking like 6, 2. Right? Those are the coordinates of X, Y, and Z. Now, remember, this matrix here has 4 numbers in it. Don't mix up the one with 4 numbers and the one with 2 numbers. This here is a translation. The translation is the easy one. What you need to do now, right? You need to take this matrix, I'll write it back here, and you're going to have to multiply it by each point individually, one by one. So to give you an idea, right, of how much work is, I personally think this question is worth more marks. We're going to take this matrix, which is 1/2, 0, 0, 1/2, and you have to multiply by point X. But when we multiplying it by point X, you have to write it vertical, right? That is refreshing your memory here. And this is the one with the 2 swings up to the top and then walk back and whatnot. So when you take this matrix and multiply by X, we will get the new X dash point. And you have to do this individually for all the points, unfortunately. Right? Multiplied by Y. And when you do that, you'll get Y dash. And then take it again and multiply it by Z. And you'll get Z dash. All right, guys, you have a lot of work cut out for you. All right, so you might end up seeing a pattern, right? But do yourself a favor, even though if you see a pattern, still do all the working, because you'll need to show all the working to get all the marks in the exam. Okay. All right. So what we got here for Y dash, I got 2 and 2. So I can write it horizontally now, right? And for Z dash, I got, right, Rajiv, correct, right? I got 3, 1. Right, you all realize the 2 numbers just got cut in 2, right? You end up dividing 4 by 2. Well, you found half of 4, half of 4. All the numbers basically got halved. So that was the pattern now, right? So what I have to do now to get full marks, I have to apparently draw this now on this diagram to get full marks, okay? So the first one was how much? 0, 1, right? The next point was 2, 2. No, sorry. Something wrong there, something wrong there. Two, and it goes all the way up to 2 here. And the next one was 3, 1. And the triangle does look like half the other triangle. Something looking wrong here, something looking wrong. So, is something wrong in this diagram here? Something looking wrong, something looking wrong. I think all the lines confusing me here a little bit. Yeah, the 2 was wrong. 0, 1 is here. The next one was 2, 2. That was up here. And the next one was 3, 1. This was the triangle down here. This is x dash, y dash, and what? Z dash. Okay? That was the answer for that one. And we just got our 2 marks for it. All right, so take a few seconds, take down anything you need to take down there, right? You understand the basics. Let's say that we have a line and the gradient of this particular line is 2/3. And then I come and tell you, I have a line perpendicular to that line. So the orange line, perpendicular means at right angles to the line. What would be the gradient of the orange line? Well, whenever 2 lines are perpendicular, to find the gradient, all you need to do is take the gradient of the first line and flip it. So if you flip 2/3, you're going to get what? 3 on 2. And you also have to make the sign the opposite. So if this 2/3 is positive, it will be what? Negative. So the gradient of the orange line is what? -3/2, right? You just call this, well, I just say flip and change the signs. But the official name for that is, I believe it's called the negative reciprocal, okay? Right. So let's apply it to this question, right? They want us to find the equation of they express the equation of the line L1 in the form y equals to mx plus c. All right, so I could probably do the working for this one here. L1, the equation is what? X plus 2y is equal to 10. All they're really asking us to do here is make y the subject, you know. That is all they want you to do. So if you want to make y the subject, you just throw across positive x. Well, I have more space here, so let me do it here. X plus 2y is equal to 10. So I'm trying to make y the subject. You throw across positive x, you get what? Minus x. So this is what we have so far. 2y is equal to 10 minus x. Now we have a 2, which is a multiply. When you throw across a multiply, you're going to get what? A divide, but you have 2 things waiting here. You have a 10 and a minus x. And if you want to be real super complete, minus x is the same thing as minus 1x. You can put in the 1 if you wish. The 2 is a multiply, throw it across, and both of them at the same point in time get divided by the 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. And well, you can put minus 0. Or you can leave it as minus a half x. Any one you want. It really doesn't matter. If you want to simplify 1 divided by 2 to 0.5, feel free to do so. Right. But you won't get full marks if you leave it like that. You notice they said express it in what? Y is equal to mx plus c. They want the x part to come first. So you have to kind of switch it around to suit the examiner. You have to put the minus a half x first and then throw the 5 after, right? Remember, well, when you in a straight line, y is equal to mx plus c. So that means the gradient of the line is minus a half. Whoever is touching x is the gradient, and whoever is not touching x is the y-intercept, right? So the final answer for this part here is y is equal to minus a half x plus 5. That's the final answer, right? Right, Miss Lynn. But once you saw your mistake there, Miss Lynn. Right. And I think I gave away the answer for part 2. State the gradient of L1. I think I spoke too much and I end up giving away the answer for part 2. So you all want to send the answer for that? What's the gradient of the L1, right? So right, it's minus a half, obviously, right? I spoke too much there. Great. All right, so far nothing hard, right? This is straight out of what we did in August, right? Right. Now they want us to determine the equation of L2. So now they want us to find the equation of the second line. So let's go back up here. For the first line, the gradient we now said was minus a half, right? M stands for the gradient. Without much calculation, you can do this in your head. Can you all tell me what's the gradient of L2? Of the number that said this line was perpendicular. No, Tyrell, check it back. Right, Alia, right? Sydney, correct. Rajiv, correct. Easier. Selena, wrong. Check it back. Right. Remember, the gradient of the first line is minus a half. Remember, we now said if we wanted to find the gradient of a perpendicular line, all we have to do is take this gradient and flip it. So right now it's on 1 on 2. So if we flip it and we will get 2 on 1, and we also have to make the sign the opposite. So the opposite of a minus is a positive, but I don't really have to put in the positive. And of course, this could simplify, right? They don't leave it as 2 on 1, right? We all know 2 divided by 1 is 2. So the gradient of L2 is 2. So look at it now. For L2, we know the gradient is 2, and we have a point on the line. Isn't the point on the line 0 minus 5? Look at it, L2 is clearly going through this point. You think you could find the equation of L2 now? Because we have the gradient and we have 1 point on the line. So find the equation of L2 with all of that information now. All right, so Alia, correct. Like there's an easy way to do this and a hard way to do this. When I'm going to work it out, I'm going to use the easy way. All right. You'll realize the examiner blatantly gave us the y-intercept. Isn't the y-intercept where the line cuts the y-axis? Isn't C the y-intercept? So I don't think we even need to do any calculations here. For the line L2, the gradient is 2, that is the same 2 here. And how much is the y-intercept? Look at it here. It's cutting the y-axis at minus 5. There wasn't any need to do any calculations to find C. Even if they did the calculations, you would still end up with minus 5 as the y-intercept. All right, so that's the final answer for this one here would be y is equal to 2x minus 5. And all right, so let's do a little bit of revision here, my own made up questions. whenever you're given a functions question, most likely the examiner is going to give you some equations at the beginning of the question. It will actually be given. And this is how it will look. Fx is equal to, let's just say 3x minus 2. That's one function. And he might give you a second function. I'm just going to call it, it doesn't always have to be f and g like in today's question. They can use any letter in the world. So if I wanted to use h, I can use h. So let's just assume hx is 5x on 2x minus 4. And I come and ask you this question. I am asking you to find f6. How would we do a question like this? He gave you the letter F, and inside the brackets, and this is very important, you notice the number 6 is inside the brackets. Whenever you have something inside the brackets, all he wants you to do is take whatever is inside the brackets and visit the letter just behind it, or in front. I don't know what you always call this, if it's in front or behind. But the point is, so I see this as backwards. What he's really saying is take 6 and visit the letter F, and wherever you see a letter X, replace the X with 6. So look at what I'm going to do. Going to go to the function F. How much is F? Isn't F 3x minus 2? That was given to us by the examiner. All he wants you to do is any x you see, he wants you to throw it away and in brackets, replace it with whatever is in the brackets, no matter how crazy it is. Today is a real nice number, 6. And guess what you have to do? You just have to work it out. 3 by 6 is 18. 18 minus 2 is 16. You're done. That is the end of the question. As simple as that. So take down that example and try this one for me. I want you to find F5, an easy question, and then I want you to find F minus 2. Just try those 2 questions for me. You notice you're working backwards. You're putting the 5 into F. You're putting the minus 2 into F. Right, so let's send those 2 answers for me, for F5 and F minus 2. All right, so getting plenty different answers. Jordan is sure. Remember, you're visiting the white equation, right? And any x, throwing it away and replacing it in the first one, well, with 5. All right, so this one here is 3, and we're replacing the x with 5. So 3 by 5 is 15. 15 minus 2 is 13. So this one here is supposed to be 13. Next one, almost the same procedure. We just replacing the x with minus 2 instead. Nothing wrong with a minus number. 3 by minus 2 is minus 6. Minus 6 minus 2 is minus 8. All right, so that one was pretty easy also. How about this one now? H3. All they're asking you to do is the same thing. You're going to take 3 and visit which letter? H. But H has 2 x's, one on top and one underneath. Not a problem. The rule is you're throwing away all the x's, even if it have 2 of them. You're just throwing away all of them. and replacing both of them at the same point in time with 3. And you just try to simplify it from there. Right, so let's see. You have a 5, you throw away this x, replace it with 3, underneath is 2. 5 by 3 is 15, 2 by 3 is 6, 6 minus 4 is 2. So you get 15 on 2. You can simplify this however you want to simplify this, right? Or you can type it in on a calculator and get what? 7.5. All right, so let me see if we can do a little piece here. Well, everyone here should be able to do part 1 now, right? They want you to find F9. So you're going to take 9 and work backwards and put it into F. So let's do that one. Everyone should be able to get that one correct. Yeah, no problem, Amanda. All right, so Alia, how about Christian? Check it back, check it back. Amara, correct. Right, so F9, well, this one is, I'm gonna write all the work in here. It will be 1/3. You throw away the x, you replace it with 9 plus 4. 1/3 of 9 is 3 plus 4. The answer is 7. The final answer is 7. As simple as that. By the way, I will show you how to do part 2 now. You notice part 2 a little bit different. It don't have one letter. It have F and G now. So this one has 2 letters involved in it. So I'll just show you how to do that quickly. It's not really that difficult. All right. All right. So let me do a next example here. Let's say we have fx, our own made up example here, and this is 2x minus 1. And you have a next function, I'll call it g, which is 5 on x. So they give you 2 different functions this time. And I ask you to find f g 5. So that's my question to you. Now notice this one has 2 letters. But the concept is still the same. Huh? You kind of always work backwards. What you have to do is put 5 into G. Forget about the F for the time being. So you think you all could do that for me? You're going to put 5 into G and tell me what answer you get. Put 5 into G. You're going to get 1, right? Because you're replacing the x here with what? 5. So G5 will give you 1. Now here's the thing. You see this new answer that you get? Remember, when you put 5 into G, you get 1. You have to take this new answer, which is 1, and put it into F. It's like you continue your journey now with the new answer. So the 5 is no longer relevant to the question, which means if you get the first answer wrong, remember you're using your first answer to complete the question. So if you get the first answer wrong, well, you're going to get the second answer wrong. So what we're doing now, we're really finding F1 because we're taking 1 and putting it into F. And only after you put the 1 into F, then you finish with the question. So it's like 2 questions squished together inside 1 question. Right, so answers coming up. Right. Well, it just coincidence we get another one. I didn't plan it like that. We're replacing the x with 1. 2 by 1 is 2 minus 1 is 1. So the final answer for the whole thing, FG5, just happens to be 1. We just happen to get 1 twice. Rajiv, check it back, right? 2 by 1 is 1, right? And well, yeah, minus 1 after. Right? So let's apply this term to this question, right? Part 2. Right? See if you all could find, well, FG minus 3 now. You gotta put minus 3 into G first. So everyone do that for me. Right. One person say the final answer is 9. All right. All right, let me see. See plenty different answers, plenty. So somebody has to be right and somebody has to be wrong. You're replacing this x with minus 3 here. Look the equations over here, right? And when you replace it, put it in brackets, right? That's proper procedure. 3 by minus 3 is minus 9. And minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. I think you'll get 4.5 here. So for the people who got 4.5, you all have it correct. So check it back now. If you get something different from 4.5, well, the whole thing in front of you, right? So what you have to do now is take this new answer, which is 4.5, and we have to throw 4.5 into F now. So this minus 3 here have nothing to do with the rest of the question. Yeah, 4.5 is the number everybody's paying attention to now. So we're ready trying to find F, 4.5. Go to F, wherever you see an X, look at an X right here. Throw him away and in brackets put 4.5 plus 4. Right. Answers are coming up. Some people are saying the answer is 5.5. I haven't worked it out as yet. 1/3 of 4.5. I'm getting 1.5 on my calculator. Then I have to add 4. Yeah, you all are correct. It's 5.5. Great. I'll put the final. All right. All right, so everyone give part 3 a read. It's a little bit different, right? I'll scroll down a little bit. All right, so let me explain why part 3 is different and it's easy to get it wrong. It's real easy to get wrong. So far, in the questions, right? Or like if they're talking about G, all we did so far was either go back to F or G and replace the X with the value given. Now tell me something, in this question, right, they're talking about GX. Let's write back to GX. GX is equal to 3x divided by x plus 1. Do you think it's okay in this question to go to this equation and replace the x's with 5 on 2? Do you think that is how you approach that question? Because so far, that's all we did so far, right? Whatever, you just go to the relevant equation, you're throwing away the x's, and whatever you see as the value, you replace x with that. What do you all think? Kimber says no. Right? Amanda, no. Right. All right. So the answer is definitely what? No. The reason is, right? Don't mix up this question and this question. You all see the difference between these two questions? In this one, the 5 on 2 is inside the brackets. In this one here, the 5 on 2, sorry, is not inside the brackets. He on the other side of an equal sign. So the questions are both different types of questions. What they want you to do in this question is actually figure out what value of x will give you 5 on 2. All right? So what you need to do in a question like this, when the values on the other side of the equal sign, is take the equation itself, which is 3x on x plus 1, and put it equal to whatever they give you. You see what I did? Isn't gx the same thing as 3x divided by x plus 1? So I just made a substitution. I kicked him out and replace him with the equation that he represents. And all you have to do now is solve for x. So I'll give you a hint. You have to cross multiply. So everyone cross multiply and solve for x. All right. And as for this question here, just to work it out, 1/3. So I use the ABC button. 1/3 multiplied by 9 plus 4. I am just now. Sorry, I got the 7 there. Right, just now, guys. I tried. Just give me 1 second. Just to scroll up here. Oh, someone said they was having problems with this calculation here. 1/3 multiplied by 4.5. I'm pretty sure we're getting 5.5. 1 ABC3, 1/3 multiplied by 4.5 plus 4. Again, 5.5, right? So I'm real sure it's 5.5. All right, so you're probably just typing in something wrong on your calculator. All right, so, sorry, we're over here now, right? Cross multiply. It doesn't matter which diagonal you cross multiply first, right? But I'll be doing this one first, the green one, although it really doesn't matter. Kimber, you say 0.2. Jelini, you say 5. Shakti, you say 5. We cross multiply. I'm not working on the whole thing, but you'll get 3x by 2. And when you cross multiply, the other diagonal is 5, open brackets, x plus 1. Remember, you're multiplying this whole thing by the 5. Huh? So you put it in brackets to signify that. Karishma, you say 5 also? All right. Amara, you say 5. All right. Let me see what's the correct answer. 3x by 2 is 6x. 5 by x is 5x, and 5 by 1 is 5. Yeah, the answer is going to be 5. When you throw across positive 5x, you'll get minus 5x. Right? So 6x minus 5x is x, well, 1x. So x is equal to 5. Right? Even if you cross multiply the other diagonal first, you will get the same exact answer. Right? So for those who got something different, just take down the correct answer and well, the working to go with it. Right? Or at least let me know if you saw your mistake or what's. Okay. Right. So finish with part 3. So functions really wasn't that hard. You all did a big portion of functions there already. I would call that about 50 or 60% of our functions. Right. So see the next question. Oh Lord, this one is like a complicated question. Right. All right. This one here is a question based on statistics. Now I just scrolling through the question. I want to see if it have any graphs to do in this one here, right? Right. If it have any graphs in it, we'll just do a makeshift graph, right? But everyone give it a read and let's see if we can answer the questions on this one. Some of these questions are actually questions based on primary school questions, SEA questions, which is good news. Ask ourselves, what are we measuring here? Apparently, it's students, and different students apparently get what? Different amount of money to spend. That is what it seems like, okay? Whenever you hear the word mode or modal, right? Mode or modal basically means most popular, right? Oh, so look at the amount of students, right? 7 students got between $50 and $60 to spend. 11 students got between $60 and $70. Which group of students, you notice this one here is 31. So apparently the most amount of students share this value between $70 and $80. That seems to be what? The most popular amount of money that a student spends. But which is the correct answer to put? 31 or the 70x less than or equal to 80? Which one is the correct one to put? Selena, correct. Now, Cindy, I had to put 1. Right, Jordan, correct, right. This is the second option. You don't put this one. Because we are measuring the amount of money. Is the money value they're looking for, right? So the answer for part 1, well, you can see why it's only worth 1 mark now, right? That's the most popular amount of money being spent, right? All right, part B, well, I'm hoping you all could see there. I don't want to scroll down because you need to see the table in order to find what? Part 2. Calculate an estimate of the mean amount of money spent, giving an answer to 2 decimal places. All right, now we haven't done statistics in class as yet, but I'll give you the formula for the mean. Right? It's a scary looking formula, but it's easy to use. Take down this formula. I think some of you saw this already. This is how you calculate mean when they give you a table. And you notice they gave you a table with this question. Clearly, it's a table. Right? So everyone take down this formula. And don't worry, I'll explain it. I'll explain it. Alana, mode just means most popular. Look, I have it over here. Mode just means most popular. All right. All right. So, all right. Okay, let's clarify something. Mode and modal are two related words, right? One word is just an extension of the other, like run and running, right? That's a play on the grammar. Like run means to move your feet, but running means basically the same thing. All right. So, well, I hope that answers the question there. All right. So let me explain what this formula means. How to use this formula. Let me explain what this funny looking symbol here means first of all. His name is sigma. Sigma just means to add up. It's a real fancy word to add up. Like if you walk in a room and you want to count up how much people have in the room, you could say, hey, count up the amount of people in the room. Or you could say sigma, the amount of people in the room. Obviously, no normal person going to use the word sigma, right? So in the formula, you see something like F and X. You have F and X over here in the table. So according to the formula, you have, forget the sigma for the time being. Fx means to take F and multiply it by the corresponding value for F, sorry. So what we're going to do, let me do the first one here. You're going to take the 7, which is the F value, and multiply it by the corresponding X value. All right, I'm just going to put the value here and call this column here Fx. They should have given us an extra column. I don't know why they didn't give us an extra column. They should have given us one. So I'm going to do the first one for you. Take F and multiply it by the corresponding X value. 7 by 55. And I get 385. You think you could do the rest for me? You're taking 11 and then you're multiplying it by its corresponding X value. And it goes straight down the line here. All right, so let me see. 11 by 65 is 715, right? So Selena, you have all of them here. And these numbers are big. All right. So some real big numbers you're getting, some real big numbers. So according to the formula, right, remember what we just calculated was all the Fx values because we multiplied all the F by the corresponding X values. What they want us to do now, the last one, somebody said the last one wrong, right? Just somebody, a couple of people are telling me the last one is wrong. Let's double checking it. 290, that's not double checking it, double checking it. 22 by 95. Oh, yeah. You're all right. Correct. 2090. I did it wrong. Right. So according to the formula now, what do they want us to do with the Fx values? They want us to sigma it. They want us to add up all the Fx values. So you see all these values here that you just worked hard to get, add them up and put the answer over here. Add up or sigma the Fx values. All right, so Amanda, Alia, Toya got the same answer. All right, Melanie, you got a final answer ready. When I added up, I got 7980. Right. Now, to find the mean, we have to divide it by sigma f. You notice the one underneath does not have an x. It's just sigma f. What we need to do now, we have to go to the f column, only the f column, which is the frequency, and you're adding up everybody in that column and put that answer underneath here now. So add up all the f values alone. And when you get the answer, divide them and you're finished. I get it underneath to be 100. So when I divide that, I'm getting 79.8. Well, the answer will be in terms of money. That's the average amount of money the students are spending. All right. But all of these are topics we plan to do next term, right? All of these things. I have functions to do with you all. I have the whole of statistics to do with you all. I have trigonometry to do with you all, right? And you said 2 decimal places, and you notice I put a 0 in to make it 2 decimal places, right? All right, so that's the answer for part B. Damien reports that the median amount spent. Now, median just means middle, right? A median is a type of average, right? So Damien reports that the median amount of money spent is $84. Explain why Damien's report could be correct, right? So we're dealing with $84, right? Let's move up here. Is it possible somebody could have spent $84 in this scenario? What do you all think? I would say yes, right? Because any smallest amount of money spent was 50, and the largest amount of money was what, 100? So it is more than possible that somebody could have spent $84. And not only that, the middle value could be what, 84. Now, if somebody come and said, hey, somebody's spending $184, I could understand why somebody would discard that report, right? Because 184, it's clearly out of the range of what? The table. All right, so I have to put that in words for you, right? This was a kind of common sense question. I guess a lot of students would have overthink it, right? Right. Because $84 is between the minimum, and I'll quote it here for the examiner, $50, all right, so that is the answer they wanted there. So 84 falls between the maximum and minimum values stated in the table itself. Right, so I'm glad that question didn't already have any graphs in it, because usually for statistics you just get a graph, but looks like in this year the students got away. All right, so part B. So take a few seconds to read that one. I need to read it too. So, all right, so probability. All right. So NE just basically stands for the amount you care about. So the amount you care about. And NS is just the total amount. That's all it boils down to. You're taking the amount you care about and dividing it by the total amount. So let's say I have some shapes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then I have orange. Let me just say I have that scenario. So let's just say we have a bag of biscuits, right? Different biscuits in it. And we cannot see inside the bag. So we just dip our hands inside the bag, and it's either you get a blue biscuit or orange biscuit, okay? If I ask you what's the probability of getting an orange biscuit, let me say you already want an orange biscuit, and I ask you to calculate the probability of getting it. Well, we have to take what you care about, the amount. You care about what? The orange biscuits. So ask yourself now, how much orange biscuits it have? 2. And now we have to divide it by the total amount of biscuits. How much biscuits it have in total? I'm talking about all the biscuits combined. That would be 6, right? Because it have 4 blue and 2 orange. So the answer would be 1/3. Because if you reduce the fraction, you get 1/3. That is it. That is the end of the question. That is how you calculate what? Probability. What you care about divided by the total. And we can more than apply this. That's more than enough knowledge to get out the question they gave us, right? A student is selected at random, okay? They want to know what's the probability that the person was driven to school that day. So the probability that someone is driven. Well, what do you care about? The people being driven. How much people were driven in total? How much people were driven? Right, Alia, correct. Karishma, correct. Tiffany, correct. Take 2 more answers. Amara, correct. Right. So 40 people, right? To calculate the probability, 40 people were driven. Look at here. 40 people were driven. And how much people did it have in all? Because you have to divide what you care about by the total amount of people. It'd be 100, right? So if you divide this, you'll get 2/5 or 0.4. Anyone will give you the total amount of marks, whether you leave it as a fraction or put it as a decimal. That is the end of the question. That's the end of it. Nothing else to do there. All right? So see if you can do part 3 now. All right, read it carefully. Huh? One of the girls was selected. Right? What is the probability that she did not cycle to school? All right. So first of all, they're talking about girls, right? First of all, you're only paying attention to this section here. You're not paying attention to all the students now. So how much girls did it have in all? The total amount is 52 because you're only considering that subsection. And how much girls did not, keyword, did not cycle. Because that's who you care about, the ones who did not cycle. That will be the walking persons and the driving persons. So you add up the 8 and the 26, so you get 34, right? So, and now, well, you divide it, right? That's all, 34 divided by 52. I get roughly 0.65 when I divide it. Yeah, 34 didn't. If they ask you who did cycle, then you would have used the 18. All right, and that is the end of that particular question. All right, guys, I need a small break, right? I need a 10 minutes break and then I'll come back. I'm sure you all could use a break too. All right. No, Sydney didn't ask us for a percentage, right? No, right, Karishma, we're not putting it over 100 because they're talking about girls only. And when you think, when you're considering the girls portion of this, the total amount of girls is 52. All right. So guys, we're meeting back here at 8:15. No. Let's just call it 8:10 now. Let me just take a small break now. A little 7 minutes break now. All right. So 8:10 now, we'll meet back here for sure. Volume would be what? Length by breadth by height also. Now, if you use the dimensions they give you here, if you just simply say 300 by 190 by 160, you're obviously not going to get this answer. And I'm sure a lot of you all realize that, right? You're not getting the answer on the screen. Question, right? If the wall is 5 centimeters thick, right? Remember, it will be 5 centimeters thick on this side. Pretend you could see through the object, and 5 centimeters here. So what would be the length from here to here inside the object? How much do you think this length will be, this one here? Well, what should I replace the 300 with? Right, Mercelin, correct. Right, Edwards, correct. Trent, correct. No, Melanie, wrong. Check it back, Melanie. Remember, the whole thing is 300 centimeters long. This side is 5 centimeters thick, and this side here is 5 centimeters thick. So that means it lose 5 on this side and it lose 5 on this side. Right, in here will be 290 because you're minusing 10, a 5, and an next 5. Because the wall itself is what? 5 centimeters thick, and you have a wall on each side. For everyone who had that wrong, you understand the mistake? You understand why it's 290 now? Right, great. So what do you think is going to happen with the 90 now? The 190, sorry. 190. Right, let's draw it in. Right. Remember, the 190, you have 5 centimeters thickness taking it up on this side, and a 5 centimeters thickness taking it up on this side. So the 190 will be how much now? Right. 180, right? Because it loses 5 on each side. Now look at the 160. What do you think is going to happen to the 160? The 160 will change to what now? Mercelin, correct, right. I'm glad you all didn't fall for that trick. Right. Remember, underneath here, have a sheet here to hold the water. Look at that, have a sheet inside here. And the sheet is what? 5 centimeters thick. Remember, you're only minusing 5 this time. You're not minusing 10. Because it's not like the top have a piece. It's not like the top being covered. No. Only the underneath piece here has a thickness. So you're minusing 5 alone, not 10 from the 160. So here becomes 155. For those who got this one wrong, you understand the mistake? It's not like the top have a lid. I guess that is the word I'm looking for. The top doesn't have a lid. It only have a base, an underneath piece to walk around on. So you're already multiplying by what? 290 by 180 by 155. Multiply that now and tell me if you get the answer that you were supposed to get. All right, so Jesse, you got in there. This was a tricky question. A tricky question. Don't feel too bad if you didn't get it though. Jordan, you put 625. You're supposed to get 8,091,000. All right, so Amanda, you got it. All right, so it was a little tricky. It was a little tricky. Oh, yeah, no problem, Joshua. All right. So the next one here, they want you to calculate the volume of wood needed to make the trough. All right. Now this one here is going to be real easy, right? That's our. Right. To calculate the volume of wood needed, right? All you have to do is find the total volume. Remember these two values here? Remember, this top one will give you the outside volume, and the one underneath giving you what? The inside volume. And if you minus the outside volume and the inside volume, think about it like this. If this is the outside volume and the dashed line is the inside volume, let me say the outside volume was 80 and the inside volume, the dash piece was 70. And if you minus those two and you'll only be left with the border itself, doesn't the border part represent the actual wood used or materials used? So what I'm really asking you to do in the next part of the question is to find the big volume and the internal volume and minus both answers. That is all they're asking you to do. When you do that, you'll be left with the volume of the wood. That's the solid part itself. Okay? So see if we can do that calculation there for me. Right, Melanie, correct. Right, Rajiv, correct. Alia, correct. All right, so for the top part, right, was 300 by 190 by 160. And this gave me 9, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the underneath part, well, we know from before, was 0, 9, 1, 1, 2, 3. And when you minus both of them, I am getting 10, 29, and 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 centimeters cubed. Right. All right. This is the last question we're doing for the day. All right. Well, for the night and the day. The night. All right. Amanda got it too. Rhonda, Jesse, Tiffany. Good, good. All right, guys. So once you got the answer, you are free to leave. And next week, we will be continuing this paper for sure. All right. So we have 2 more weeks, and guys, we're going up to the 14th of December. Take care. Alia, you said that was B. I'm not too sure what that means. You said it was B. I think you meant to type something else. Later. Later, everyone. Bye, bye. This is June 2021. Yeah, Alia, that was part B. And don't worry, Vinayak. It will get easier as we go along. Right?